Do it.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, whatever the case may be. Welcome to Cross Examinations Live on Unapologetic American. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry about the beach towel hanging over the Joker's face, but I just noticed it. How's everybody's weekend? I hope and pray that everyone had a wonderful, wonderful weekend. It was bloody 90 degrees here. Like, was that yesterday? Day before yesterday? I don't know, man. It got hot. What's going on with getting hot? I always forget to adjust that. My cat keeps bumping my camera. You guys know my cat. So what's going on today? I got this message in Discord that Brie Larson is going to be the super most powerful Jedi ever. And it's a rumor. I don't know if it has legs, but it got me to thinking, like, I don't care. I know that may not be the reaction that a lot of people are looking for. Look, I'm certainly not going to make video after video after video about Brie Larson. And look, that kind of leads to a greater issue. Actually, you know what? Let's talk about the rumor Star Wars reboot. Let's share the screen real quick. First of all, Star Wars reboot. You want to reboot? I don't. That's got to be a misleading title, right? That's got to be misleading. Star Wars could be getting a timeline reboot in an upcoming Disney Plus series, a new report says. I gotta just not care. Whatever they're doing, it's all fan fiction at this point, and I don't know. I think, I kind of don't even want to read this story, just because it's gonna become like some kind of angry thing. But here's the nuts and bolts of it. Maeve, that would be Brie Larson's character, has a lot going on in this new series. On top of cracking down on a new Force-like power, she would be involved in a brutal Jedi civil war. While the warrior is not part of either the dark side or the light side, so she's a gray Jedi, which I believe gray Jedis are supposed to be the most powerful. Anyway, so that would be in canon. She would go on to find allies on both sides of the war. Even more dramatic is the inclusion of a third-party villains looking for one particular person in the galaxy. Zero went on the series will involve a brand new enemy in the form of a new galaxy. Maeve's new power is what the enemy seeks. This new enemy would be no match for Maeve, however. Look, I can't... It's all so silly. However, Larson's character is somehow stronger than Luke, Anakin, and Rey combined because of her link with some powerful aliens. All right, I'm gonna stop. Okay. I don't want to even let this bother me because I'm not an outrage peddler. And it's honestly, I think it's a lot of people take Star Wars stuff so personally because because it was such a big part of their childhood, right? But I mean, when I was a child, I thought as a child. I did, but I grew up and I put away childish things. That's not to say I'm gonna get rid of my Star Wars. Maybe I should get rid of my Star Wars toys. I don't know. I got my lightsabers right back there. But I was gonna say, can you blame Brie Larson, who is just an actress. I don't personally think she's the world's greatest actress. Um, she's not, she ain't bad to look at, as actresses her age have a very limited career path ahead of them. I mean, think of how many actresses actually have careers into their 50s, right? So, look, man, let her strike while the iron's hot. Whatever. I don't know how to. I was trying to think of how to not care about this, because it's I don't know, man. I was driving around, I was going and running errands and stuff, and I was thinking about this, and I was like, how do you escape like something that meant a lot to you as a kid? You're a collector, you love this stuff, but really, can you just divorce? Because they turned it from. Here's a good example, right? We're also in the Discord. We were talking about spaghetti westerns and stuff. Oh, by the way, like and share, people. Like and share. If you would be so kind as to subscribe, like, and share. The Man with No Name trilogy, right? These wonderful, awesome series of movies, trilogy of movies from roughly the same time period, which many of us, me, I know for sure, as a kid, just adore. I love the Man with No Name series. I love the Trinity series. I love, Sergio Leone in general. Anyways, but it's like if they went and did a I don't know. It's like they never would do a sequel to that, because they did. Well, no, they did. But see, the sequel, really, the sequel to those movies is Unforgiven, and Unforgiven is all right. I'm ruining my argument here, because Unforgiven is my favorite Western, and it culminates. Okay, I get it. They are completely crapping on our childhood, but I can't make a career out of being mad about that. I've got other things to do. I got a universe to create. I've got comics to draw and to write and to I don't know. I know a lot of guys out there made a lot of money, just going over and over, regurgitating, reiterating, villainizing Brie Larson for some stupid things she said. And I grant you, girl's got a whole bag of stupid things. But like I saw Captain Marvel, and with or without her, it wasn't her that wrote that horrible story. It wasn't her that created this Mary Sue, right? It's not Daisy Ridley. Don't blame Daisy Ridley for Rey. There's a whole committee of. Look, man, McCarthy just didn't get his job done. McCarthy should have stripped Hollywood bare of communists, and he didn't, because somehow or another, the public perception of what he was doing looked bad, but he was doing the absolute right thing, and he failed. And the seeds of those communist douchebags that in Hollywood got buried a little deeper in the ground, grew much thicker, stronger roots, sprouted up decades later, and now are bearing the fruit in the form of scripts they can hand over to people like Brie Larson. and say, "Here, read this pile of trash." Yeah, no, she's. I'm trying to be nice because I don't want to. She's just a young lady with a dream, and she's getting. I don't know how she's getting these roles. She's really not a good actress, but I don't want to be like, and honestly, here's the thing. I don't want to say she's a terrible person just because she said some terrible things. I'm sure people can find clips of me saying terrible things. Mike, it ain't just Hollywood. The literary industry is just as bad. Really? Brie is the epitome of a Karen. I know. Did you see Max, or did he? Because he's behind the computer now, up at the window again. Daisy Ridley doesn't take every chance to crap all over men in her interviews. Brie does. Does she? Or has she done a bunch of interviews that nobody pays attention to? Because the only ones we pay attention to are the ones where she says stupid stuff, and then they broadcast it everywhere across outrage culture TV. I don't know, man. I don't want to. To each his own, I suppose. Because I know there's people that look. I wouldn't know Quarterback Garrett. I wouldn't know Quarterback Garrett if it wasn't for him finding other people who were outraged about Star Wars, right? So the whole movement of Star Wars outrage, begat a friendship with me and Garrett, and I don't know, maybe it brought people together, but is that what you want to be brought together for? Do you want to be brought together because you love something, or because you're mad about something? I mean, that's just not my shtick. It's not my flavor, it's good that I guess you can find solace in the outrage of other people, but I don't know. And you know what? It's YouTube's fault. It's the algorithm's fault, right? It's like when you find something that goes viral, and it's because you got on YouTube and you were so angry about a movie because it pooped on your childhood. And then like that video goes viral and you're like, wow, I got to do another one of these because that video made me $5,000. I don't know how. I honestly have no idea. And then you do another one, and that one, you ride that algorithm, and then YouTube starts suggesting people to your outrage channel, and then lo and behold, when you used to be just a normal average person with a real personality, suddenly I'm gonna piss off some people here. I'm sorry. Suddenly, you become an outrage merchant, and that's all people know you for. And then people on the other side, all they see coming out of you is bile and hatred. Just like you're only selecting the moments of Brie Larson's interviews where she's like, thank you very much. Right? It's like, whatever, half an hour interview, whatever it is. But thank you very much becomes all she's about, right? So what you're doing to her is what they're doing to you. And then they say, you're nothing but a hate group. You're nothing but a hate culture. They have just as much validity saying that as you, or you guys even in the chat, saying that she's just a man hater. That's all she is. She's a man hater. Look, she might have said some stupid stuff. We all say stupid stuff. But when you're feeding into that outrage culture, I mean, don't complain when the mirror is turned on you, and people are saying the same thing, doing the same thing to you. You know, I've had crap like that done to me. I don't enjoy it. And normal doesn't sell. I disagree, W.T. Keaton. I disagree. There are, I have no idea how many. If you step outside of the outrage culture YouTube sphere, there are normal channels that have millions of subs and millions of views. But no, not in the outrage culture sphere. If you're not feeding outrage, that doesn't sell, right? Nasser has fallen into this freaking trap himself. I love you, Nasser, dude, but I stopped watching your show and I stopped coming on as a guest because you're trying to do the outrage culture thing. You're trying to pick fights and all that kind of crap, and it's, dude, it is so not even you. It's so, it's disappointing. And yeah, so look, Brie Larson wants to be or if Brie Larson ends up being the most powerful Jedi in the history of Star Wars, well, then that'll just be one more Star Wars tale that I'm not interested in reading or viewing. Look, I didn't read all the Star Wars books, right? Yeah, exactly, Nasser. It's a broken heart. You've given me a broken heart. You understand. Good. I think you have to choose, though. You can't have a toe in both worlds. Yeah, it's funny because I got I was talking to somebody on Twitter the other day who said, "Oh, I didn't," or they're like, "It's not like we don't like your work, Mike. It's that, we don't like that you can't take a joke." And I'm like, when could I not take a joke? That had nothing to do with anything. Not being able to take a joke. I look, guys, I feign being offended a lot. It's part of the gag, right? I'm very difficult to offend. There are some things that I will take seriously, but what was the point of that? It was that I didn't like to participate so much in the outrage stuff, right? I mean, that's why people came to the Aloha Hour, to get away from that. All right. Edwin and I were the oasis in the outrage culture sphere that we were embedded in, for lack of a better word. I don't know. Everybody's gonna do their own thing. I just don't. And y'all can be mad, and if this happens, y'all can go, watch hours of people telling the world that Brie Larson is the Antichrist because she wanted to play a Jedi, and then she got it. Mike can't take a joke. WT says, I didn't read all the Star Wars books either. I just couldn't get through The Crystal Star by Vonda McIntyre. Okay, I've never even heard of that one. That one must have fallen off the cliff. No, I do love a good Star Wars book. For years, that was all the Star Wars you could get, right? It was like, it's a book, so it's like a movie in your brain. So it's Mark Hamill at the best of his acting ability in your head. I just watched actual Westerns as a kid instead of Star Wars. I love Westerns, man. Yeah, we were talking about Trinity and My Name is Nobody and all stuff in the Discord. It was fun. Wait, she is playing a Jedi? No! That's the rumor, Jay Hamilton. That is the rumor. The rumor is by Hollywood insider Daniel Richtman, claiming Larson is in active talks to be involved in a new Star Wars project. There's two people claiming it. So there's two people claiming it. Where there are two or more witnesses, a thing must be established. So we should do an Aloha Hour soon. That would be fun. We should, Edwin. We absolutely should. What's going on with your other channels? Why another new one? Because Unapologetic American was struck, and I was intending on doing some videos here, but I was really more intending, instead of doing the daily grind video, I don't know, I might do some of those. I want to try to do some common sense political realities type videos on this channel. Like I want to do one about rewarding behavior, right? Like when you reward behavior, you get more of that behavior. Rewards incentivize more of said behavior. So like when you reward hospitals for treating COVID patients, then suddenly when one season you have 20,700 flu patients, but the next season when you get extra money if they're not flu patients but they're COVID patients, suddenly you only have 700 flu patients, but you've got much more COVID patients. Everybody has COVID. When you incentivize the label of saying someone has COVID, you give federal funds to a hospital for COVID, suddenly the flu all but vanishes. This is the actual statistics in San Diego, by the way. 20,700 last season, 700 this season. Young says, we just need to accept Star Wars is in the toilet. Sometimes we just need to let beloved franchises end and go away. Good Star Wars ended in 1984, 1985. Yeah. Yep. Thankfully, I have those originals on my computer, so I can watch them anytime I want. Your state sucks, Mike. Why do you stay in that mess? Oh, it's wonderful, wonderful weather. 1983, was it that early? Yeah, but here's the deal, Nasser. Back then, movies stayed in theater. If a movie was like hella popular, it could stay in the theater literally for years. As long as people kept going to see it, it was in the theaters. So I guarantee you Jedi was in the theaters at least until 84, possibly until 85. Getting on the road, Mike. I could do an Aloha about 9 p.m. your time if you are free. Yeah, let's pencil that in. Let us pencil in an Aloha hour. Yeah, I know. All the truth. Look, I'm not saying COVID's not real. I'm just saying when you incentivize something, you get more of it. When you incentivize fatherlessness in urban areas, guess what you get? More fatherlessness. It's not that hard to figure out. Anyways, I want to do a video like that, but it's not like maybe it's not me, but it's like the blue orb talking to people. No, I have no idea. I want to do like a video, like a well-edited video. I'm going to script it out and all that stuff. It's not going to be all extemporaneous like I do all the time on here. But Gabriel says, this may be an unpopular opinion, but I'm glad pop culture is in the toilet. It gives us time to recollect our thoughts and remember why what we do and the stories we tell are important. The orb has appeared. Bring the orb back. Right through this says Rocky Horror Picture Show is still on its initial release. There hasn't been a single week. It hasn't been shown since day one. Really? Really? You mean they've kept Rocky Horror going during the shutdown? Bum bum bum. Did I just see the blue orb? I don't think so, Arlene. I think you're seeing things. Hail the orb, says Gabrielle. Ah, the orb. The orb. What are we gonna do about that orb? I don't know. Like and share, subscribe, like and share. So I guess it's just a rumor. It's just a rumor. And of course, it's so funny because it's so easy to make fun of this stuff. I get it. It is so easy to make fun of. But, you know, it's like why I got sick of watching Sean Hannity. Sean Hannity has a freaking a punch list, right? And it's like he doesn't have arguments. He has regurgitations, right? He doesn't have thoughtful dialogue with another person. He has a list that he goes down every time somebody hits him with something. He goes, you know what? It reminds me of like Jehovah's Witnesses or Latter-day Saints when they're trained to have particular answers for, and I'm talking about the ones that come to your door and they're usually pretty young and they don't know any better, but they've memorized answers to particular questions. Probably more Jehovah's Witnesses than Mormons, but that's what Sean Hannity reminds me of. It's just like, well, what about this? He's all A, B, C, D, E, F, and this is what it sounds like when you're watching these videos, guys, complaining about the exact same stuff 1,000 different times. It's like, holy crap! Can you have an original thought? I mean, does it bore anyone else, or is it just me? Let's stop beating dead horses and create new IPs. Modern media is so uncreative, it's not even funny. That's what Lone Star is for, my friend. That's what Lone Star is for. Oh, man. That's another thing. I've been spending too much time, or maybe not too much, because I found some fantastic cryptocurrencies. Yes, I'm just going to say it because that's what I was doing. I didn't do any like comic work today. I was doing research on newer cryptocurrencies so I can find things I can get into early so that they can have those 100x returns or those 1000x returns. So I've been doing that today before I had to go run some errands. But yeah, I have all this other stuff to do. I want to letter Lone Star myself. So I need to actually sit down and start doing it because even though the coloring's not done, I want to get. No, I wasn't trading Force Ghost. I wasn't trading. I was researching. I want to get it all lettered on the black and white stuff. I'll just drop the color stuff in there later, but I want to get it all lettered so that I can send out the complete book for proofreading to, a select handful of friends who, because I want to get their reaction to the story. All right. I've got to dedicate time to doing that. Gosh, it's going to take a minute. I think I can do 5 or 6, depending on the page, 5, 6, 7 pages a day, 48 pages. Yeah. The best thing about young Mormons on missions is the furtive look they give when they go into a store and buy the Forbidden Mountain Dew or Monster. I've never witnessed it. Mike got his crypto hit earlier and is good for the next 8 hours. If Bitcoin goes over 100,000, will there be a Lone Star movie? I don't have that much Bitcoin, Roscoe. Come on. Before long, I haven't even had coffee today. I've had a lot of tea. This is jasmine green tea. And I had some black tea earlier. But yeah, I didn't have my coffee. No coffee. All right. Young B says Hannity will go to his grave and never admit there were no weapons of mass destruction. I'm trying to remember. I'm sorry. My mind is fuzzy on it, but I thought I remembered they found like chemical weapons, didn't they? I mean, I grant you that's not like, obviously they didn't have any nukes or anything, but didn't they find some chemical weapons? Am I misremembering? All right. Let's get to. I would give you all my latest picks for crypto, but you're probably not interested. So if you are, just go to the Discord under Crypto Kings. All right, I need to find where we were. 1 Samuel chapter. What chapter were we in? Did we do chapter 30 last time? Yeah. Yeah, we're in chapter 31. This is the last chapter of 1 Samuel, guys. The last chapter of 1 Samuel. Sharing screen. They detail the massive amounts of WMDs discovered in Iraq from 2003. What are we talking about? For those of you who think there were no weapon of mass destruction, you need to read the article in the New York Times, October 14th, 2014. They detail the massive amounts of WMDs discovered in Iraq from 2003 to 2014. Right through this says, I remember them finding supplies and equipment to produce chemical weapons, but not any actual produced and stored. Okay, that's scarier. If they had the supplies, the equipment, but you didn't have the finished product, the logical explanation for that is they took the finished product away and hid it or sold it to someone else. That's the rational explanation for, well, we've got the supplies, we've got the equipment, we've got the how, we've got the where, we've got the when. We just don't have the final product. That to me is scarier than if they found a stash with all the supplies and equipment and a stash, right? Then they're like, oh, good, we got it. We got the stuff. It's like, oh, no, crap, they made it and they took it away. It's like if you go and you bust a meth house, right? And you've got the cookers and the thingers and the beakers and Jesse's over there in the corner, but there's no meth. You don't go, oh, good, we got here just before he cooked some meth. No. The rational thing is Walt clearly took the meth somewhere else. All right. So, yeah. Not now about WMDs. Please read. What? Oh, yeah. Hi, Eden. You want to come in and read the Bible? You have to take a shower? Well, don't bring your...
My shirt got caught in the door.
Ah. Are you going to read the Bible?
How much?
It's only 13 lines. It's only 13 lines. It's 1 Samuel chapter 31, last chapter of 1 Samuel. Don't sound too excited.
Now the Philistines Now the Philistines fought against Israel, and the men of Israel fled from before the Philistines and fell down slain in Mount Gilboa. And the Philistines followed hard upon Saul and upon his sons, and the Philistines slew Jonathan
Oh,
and Abinadab and
Malchishua.
Saul's sons. And the battle went sore against Saul, and the archers hit him, and he was sore wounded of the archers. Then said Saul unto his armor bearers, Draw thy sword and thrust me through there with it, lest these uncircumcised come and thrust me through and abuse me. But his armor bearer would not, for he was sore afraid. Therefore Saul took a sword and fell upon it. And when his armor bearer saw that Saul was dead, he fell likewise upon his sword and died with him. So Saul died, and his 3 sons, and his armor bearer, and all his men, the same day together. And when the men of Israel that were on the other side of the valley, and they that were on the other side Jordan, saw that the men of Israel fled, and that Saul and his sons were dead, they forsook the cities and fled. And the Philistines came and dwelt in them. And it came to pass on the morrow, when the Philistines came to strip the slain, that they found Saul and his 3 sons fallen in Mount Gilboa. And they cut off his head, and stripped his armor, and sent into the land of the Philistines round about, to publish it in the house of their idols, and among the people. And they put his armor in the house of Ashtaroth, and they fastened his body to the wall of Bethshan. When the inhabitants of Jabesh Gilead heard of that which the Philistines had done to Saul, all the valiant men arose and went all night and took the body of Saul and the bodies of his sons from the wall of Bethshan, and came to Jabesh and burnt them there. And they took their bones and buried them under a tree at Jabesh and fasted 7 days.
Why not little blue ball?
I am the little blue ball.
Solicide. He committed solicide. That is correct, Roscoe. Hey, I sent Roscoe his art, except for the Wonder Woman painting.
I'll do it now. I finished my room. Or it's not finished, but it's finished enough that my desk is there.
Okay.
But I have to make my cross.
Okay, all right. Always with the excuses. All right. This is even better than the big blue ball. It makes me wonder why people come to watch my show when all they want is for someone else to be here instead of me. It makes me sad. Teenagers. Yes. Eden knows how to make an entrance. Ow. Indeed. David was a weapon of mass destruction. Indeed he was. So what can we get out of this little tale? Was that boy, a lot of the Israelites were just kind of scared of the Philistines, right? They didn't rise up to
Rise up.
They didn't rise up to avenge. Okay, they are down here at the bottom, right? They're gonna, right? No, they didn't. They just went to go get the bones.
Bible trivia. How did Saul die?
Bible trivia. How did Saul die? He fell
had a
on
heart
his
attack.
sword. He was slain by archers. He starved to death. He suffered a fatal heart attack. Well, what if he stabbed himself in the heart?
That's technically an attack on his heart.
That's right. Eden should do all the reading of the Bible and all the singing.
What singing?
Lemonade. That cool, refreshing drink.
Lemonade.
It's okay if Eden replaces the orb. It's true. I got my art. Mike 1, Eden 0.
I think it's time for me to leave. Bye.
Bye. Eden said, "Bye, everyone." Saul fell on his sword. Yes. Of course, there's another report where it might be even in the next chapter where someone comes to tell David that that Saul ordered him to kill him, and he killed Saul. I think thinking that he was going to get some sort of a reward for like putting Saul out of his misery. David was the king, and then David's like, "Kill that dude," because it is not anyone's right to put their hands against the anointed one of God. Hold on. And yes, I am still wearing my Trump shirts because he's still my president. Saul was an adventurer like you until he took an arrow to the knee. It's Eden and Max. It's the Eden and Max show. It's jeez, with the tail, dude. He like swings that thing around. Hey, Bubba. It's gonna hit my eye again. Whoa!
Oh, he fell. So stupid.
Dum dum dum. What are you doing, Max?
Don't sit on my head.
Aww.
What about Brie Larson?
It's rumored that she's going to be the most powerful Jedi ever. More powerful than Anakin, Luke, and Rey combined. So is Brie Larson still in the news? That's the news. That's the news. Trifecta, Max Eden, Mike. Yes. Look at him. He's just chilling. He loves just laying on a back. He's like, carry me around like I am the prince. The king. I'm the king.
Seeing my face.
I'm the king. I will whip you with my tail. All right. Mad Kitty Love. Yes, Eden Miller, portable cat platform. That is her job now. Okay. You may take Max away. Oh.
Get out.
Alrighty then. Our old Siamese used to do the same thing. Yeah, I've always wanted a shoulder cat ever since I met this one shoulder cat at Dragon's Lair Comics in Austin when I lived it there in 1998, 99, 98, 99. And I went in there and they had this tiny little, just the cutest little tiny Abyssinian kitty, and she was a shoulder cat. So if you were like, you know, squatting down, looking through comics, she would jump up on your shoulder. It was so cute. I'm like, oh, I want a shoulder cat. And Max is the first one who's ever actually been a shoulder cat. But he's not a tiny little Abyssinian who can sit on your shoulders. He's like this giant Bengal mix, whatever, that plops. So yeah, he's a plopper. They fired Gina Carano for opinions and hired Brie Larson instead. Wow, Disney really is stupid. I agree. Walt Disney, I'm certain, is rolling over in his cryogenic tube. Oh my gosh, what a great story that would be. We should do a story where the technology is around to reinvigorate people from their cryogenic tubes. Walt Disney comes back to life, but he comes back to life like and as a zombie and then destroys Disney. Something like that. You've got to admit, Brie has an uncanny ability to kill franchises. Well, she didn't kill Marvel. She didn't kill the Avengers franchise. The Captain Marvel bit, the Captain Marvel movie was terrible. I mean, just functionally as a movie, it was by far, I think, the worst Marvel movie of them all. By the way, anybody? I know I'm supposed to be talking about the Bible, and we're back on Brie Larson. Come on, anybody get anything good? Because it's just the story now. We're just talking story. We're talking story here. You want to go to Samuel 2, chapter 1. It is 27 verses. I have time to read it. Let's do that. Well, zombies are destroying Disney. I did take time this weekend. I watched Falcon and Winter Soldier. And I watched Invincible. All 3 episodes of Invincible. And the last 2 episodes of The Promised Neverland. Ragnarok was not trash, Jay. Ragnarok was epic. The thing about Ragnarok was I enjoyed it. I couldn't enjoy Driving Miss Davis. Is that her name? Davis? Danvers. Driving Miss Danvers. Because that's what that movie was. It was Driving Miss Danvers. And I absolutely hated what they did to Nick Fury in that movie. Ugh. Ragnarok was a fun movie, but it wasn't Thor. It was Thor, though. It's just the same thing as if, you go from Lee and Kirby, or whoever the heck drew She-Hulk back when it was a serious title, to John Byrne's She-Hulk, which to me was the best She-Hulk, right? It went from very serious to comedic. It was still She-Hulk, but it was utilizing the medium in a different way, and it was told more tongue-in-cheek. That's the same. That's the same way I think of Thor. All 3 Thor movies, I enjoyed them because I wasn't thinking of them as a series. I was thinking of them as their own standalone films because the creative teams were different on each of them. Right? It's not Sergio Leone, doing 3 Man with No Name films, right? It's just like in the comics where you can have different people with different takes on the characters, but they're doing it on the big screen. So for me, that was fun, right? Walt Simonson's Thor certainly wasn't the same as Stan Lee's Thor, right? It's just, that's the take, man. John Byrne doing Spider-Man isn't the same thing as Todd McFarlane doing Spider-Man. You've got to accept that creators want to have, different visions, as long as it's not completely, and maybe the reason it's harder to separate is because it's the same actor, right? That's entirely possible. But it was certainly the most enjoyable Thor film. Like it wasn't, although the end. Anyways, She-Hulk did tokenization of a previously established character right. She-Hulk was fun for the D villains and Burns artwork. Burns She-Hulk was great. I love Burns She-Hulk. All right. Anyways, 2 Samuel chapter 1. Let us begin. We have 10 minutes left. Now it came to pass let's have this read by the big blue ball, or the little blue ball, as it were. Let me get some drink because my throat is dry. And now it came to pass after the death of Saul that when David was returned from the slaughter of the Amalekites, and David had abode 2 days in Ziklag, it came even to pass on the third day that, behold, a man came out of the camp from Saul with his clothes rent. So this all happened at the same time. On the timeline, it seems to me, it was David was gone, fighting the Amalekites. The Philistines attacked, killed Saul. This is all happening at the same time. David comes home from the slaughter, and then the third day later, someone came out of came from the camp of Saul with his clothes rent and earth upon his head, so it was when he came to David that he fell on the earth and did obeisance. And David said unto him, From whence comest thou? And he said unto him, Out of the camp of Israel I escaped. All right, you know what? Going back to the other chapter where I said I didn't think that was Samuel, because he accepted the obeisance of Saul, David doesn't stop this dude from obeisance, right? Maybe obeisance and worship aren't quite the same thing. And David said unto him, From whence comes thou? And David said unto him, How went the matter? I pray thee, tell me. And he answered, That the people are fled from the battle, and many of the people are fallen and dead, and Saul and Jonathan his son are dead also. And David said unto the young man that told him, How knowest thou that Saul and Jonathan his son be dead? And the young man told him and said, As I happened by chance upon Mount Gilboa, behold, Saul leaned upon his spear, and lo, the chariots and horsemen followed hard after him. And when he looked behind him, he saw me, and he called unto me, and I answered, Here am I. And he said unto me, Who art thou? And I answered him, I am an Amalekite. And he said unto me, Stand. Didn't David just wipe out the Amalekites? Why is this guy? Stand, I pray thee, upon me, and slay me, for anguish is come upon me, because my life is yet whole in me. So I stood upon him and slew him. This guy's a total liar, by the way. Because I was sure that he could not live after that he was fallen. And I took the crown that was upon his head and the bracelet that was on his arm, and have brought them hither unto my Lord. Then David took hold on his clothes and rent them, and likewise all the men that were with him. And they mourned and wept and fasted until even for Saul and for Jonathan his son, and for the people of the Lord, and for the house of Israel, because they were fallen by the sword. And David said unto, by the way, it's David, if you're pronouncing it correctly. David said unto the young man that told him, Whence art thou? And he answered, I am the son of a stranger, an Amalekite. Bruh, David just got back from killing all the Amalekites. I wouldn't have said that. And David said unto him, How wast thou not afraid to stretch forth thine hand to destroy the Lord's anointed? And David called one of the young men and said, Go near and fall upon him. And he smote him that he died. And David said unto him, Thy blood be upon thy head, for thy mouth hath testified against thee, saying, I have slain the Lord's anointed. And David lamented with his lamentation over Saul and over Jonathan his son, his best friend, his bestie, friends for life. Also, he bade them teach the children of Judah the use of the bow. Behold, it is written in the book of Jasher. That's interesting. It's kind of an aside, right? The beauty of Israel is slain upon the high places. How are the mighty fallen? Tell it not in Gath. Publish it not in the streets of Ascalon, lest the daughters of the Philistines rejoice, lest the daughters of the uncircumcised triumph. Ye mountains of Gilboa, let there be no dew, neither let there be rain upon you, nor fields of offering. For there the shield of the mighty is vilely cast away, the shield of Saul, as though he had not been anointed with oil. From the blood of the slain, from the fat of the mighty, the bow of Jonathan turned not back, and the sword of Saul returned not empty. Saul and Jonathan were lovely and pleasant in their lives, and in their death they were not divided. They were swifter than eagles. They were stronger than lions. This is a great eulogy, by the way, just as an aside. Ye daughters of Israel, weep over Saul, who clothed you in scarlet with other delights, who put on ornaments of gold upon your apparel. How are the mighty fallen in the midst of the battle? O Jonathan, thou wast slain in thine high places. I am distressed for thee, my brother Jonathan. Very pleasant hast thou been unto me. Thy love to me was wonderful, passing the love of women. How are the mighty fallen, and the weapons of war perish. So David's genuinely grieving, obviously, if you're paying any attention. He loved Jonathan like a brother. He revered Saul as the anointed king. So, and then this freaking knucklehead Amalekite claims, obviously he stumbled upon Saul and Jonathan like dead on the battlefield and robbed their corpses, right? And then came to try to get a reward from David because he's like, oh yeah, David's the king, right? David just, wiped out all my people. So maybe if I bring him Saul's crown and I say that I'm the one that killed Saul, his great enemy who's been trying to kill him, then maybe, just maybe, I'll get something out of this. He got whacked. That's what he got out of it. All right, let's see what you guys are saying. Obeisance? Obeisance? The big blue ball drinks. Hey, you ever read that book, Everyone Poops? Endgame could have depowered Hulk by introducing Joe Fixit. I know Elliot hates Smart Hulk, but I liked Peter David's Smart Hulk run. So having Smart Hulk in was it Endgame? It was Endgame, right? That didn't bother me in the slightest. Now you're talking about Game of Thrones for some reason. The blue lacrosse ball speaks. All right. Thank you very much, Raker. Such appreciation. Anyways, anything else going on? We got about 2 minutes left here. What else were we talking about? Let's see the Discord. We were talking about here. Let me read something. Elrod says, outrage marketing. These studios know that is all they need to do is plant a rumor, and the Urube Karens will make endless free commercials. It's not a new thing. In the 40s, RCA paid old ladies to protest Elvis. Same was done for Marilyn Manson in the 90s. The only difference now is the YouTube fools do it for free. The best way to protest a comic or movie is not to give it attention. Don't buy it. People cry endlessly about Disney while they sub to Disney Plus and buy Disney products, and they wonder why it's doing so well. I'll be straight up with you. I have Disney Plus. I'm not paying for it. I'm not stealing it. I honestly can't find where or how to cancel it. I've tried everything. It says it's on my Google thing. Then I go to my Google thing and it's not there. So I don't know how they're getting I don't see it on any of my bills. Somehow or another, I think I'm getting free. You know what might be? It might be part of. Do you get it free with Amazon or something? I know you get HBO free with Amazon. I don't know. Anyways, Elvis killed dozens of Nazis with his pelvic thrust. That's true. This is true. This is a fact, ladies and gentlemen. Don't believe anything I say. All right. Are you on Verizon? No, I'm on AT&T. Maybe that's it. I have no idea. Anyways, we're at an hour. Thank you for being here. Yeah, me and Edwin, 9 o'clock. What's that? In a couple hours, we'll drop in and have a nice aloha hour over on Blacklist Universe. So thank you all for being here. God bless you all. Like, subscribe, share, do all that fun stuff. And we'll see you on the next exciting episode of Cross Examinations. Bye.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.